What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you on Lucid, I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, what's been coming out about the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did close 3.85% in the green. It was able to piggyback off of the broader market's optimism associated to a lot of companies unveiling some pretty kick-ass earnings and good future guidance. So that's giving a little bit more optimism for 2024. Just hopefully in Lucid's case, they do kind of follow that good momentum and have some kick-ass earnings. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. As far as today, there was no official news from Lucid itself whatsoever, no SEC filings. There was a couple of things that did come out. Honestly, this one went right over my head, but this one was announced a couple days back. So Saks announced his first ever electric vehicle partnership with Lucid. So I think this is kind of good. Once again, helping with the marketing aspect, get its name out there. Is this going to lead to sales? Probably not. Well, either way, it's going to be hard to track. But once again, kind of good stuff overall for kind of to fit into Lucid's marketing plan. Aside from that though, looking right here, it was posted that there might be a potential studio in Dubai. And that's once again kind of further expanding in that region. Right now, Lucid doesn't have any updates for that. But then again, as I've kind of complained, they don't really update their website as much as they probably should. And normally in the past, they've been really on point with updating exactly upcoming studios, even if it's several quarters ahead of the game. So I think that's kind of a good thing. So hopefully they do follow through with this actual new studio right there, because I think in reality, there's a lot of good demand in that region where Lucid could stand to benefit from. As far as what shorts did today, they did increase a small amount, so 53,000 shares, 31.16% of the free float is being shorted. So it is still very, very close to the all-time high. So that's kind of crazy to see that a lot of stocks are just rallying all-time highs for instance, Palantir and many others, and Lucid is still lagging. So hopefully, once again, it goes back down to their earnings. They have kick-ass earnings, good future guidance, and then that will deter and give the middle finger to shorts and get them out of Lucid, causing the stock price to go up. So hopefully that does happen. Cost to borrow average is 25.89. And as far as looking at options, a lot more optimism. So $948,000 in calls being purchased versus 766 in puts. Sentiment-wise, 69% of all the options being done today were relatively neutral. And so that worked out to be about $5.94 million worth. So a lot of people are kind of taking advantage of the fact that Lucid is somewhat stagnant, still under $5. So they're just doing that to collect premiums. So this is why you get the neutral status for that. Aside from all of that fun stuff, it does look like they have fully updated their website, because when I was trying to update, or I guess look at this yesterday, it wasn't working for me. So I want to talk on this for a second, because I've been kind of prepping people on what type of questions should be asked. Because of course, this upcoming earnings, it is only going to be Peter, and not going to have Sherry behind him trying to save a lot of questions, if that makes sense. So the first question right here asked by James, this is what I've been saying is more of a concern and an issue, because no offense to James and the 811 people who did vote for this, but this is one of those questions that I feel is pointless. And my reasoning is that they're not able to answer this question. So the question is, when do you think you'll have your first profitable quarter? And so again, when it comes down to Lucid, even last quarter, they were unable to give us 2024 guidance on with their targets. So who's to say that they can even think or comprehend when they are going to be profitable? That is just way, way too far out. And as I've signaled, Sherry, even though she's been very well spoken in the past, her timeliness on how much cash they have up until was always incorrect. 2 quarters wrong at least every single time. So Lucid's judgment on money is very poor. And so technically even Rivian, right? They're supposed to be profitable 2025. Similar goes for Polestar. Those companies are very vague on when they're going to be profitable. So And those companies most likely will be reaching profitability well before Lucid. If you take this question and put it in probably 2025, second half of 2025, that's a lot more suitable, because I do feel that 2026 is going to be when profitability does occur. So once again, I feel like this is a very good question, just not for this quarter. So no offense again to James and the individuals that did vote for this. Moving on though, I feel like this question is good. Do you plan to reduce time to market for new products such as the Gravity? Like, of course, the Gravity is the next big thing for Lucid. Ideally, if you have the phase 2 up and running, why not just launch it sooner? So I feel like that's a very good question. Once again though, I feel like they won't be able to fully answer that. If anything, this question might potentially backfire because, like I kind of said, phase 2 was supposed to be done in 2023, not 2024. So it shows at least at the AMP1, they are behind the scenes, or behind the gun, if that makes sense. So overall, a good question. Just, I don't know if we'll get the actual answers that retail does want. This question right here, they've actually done PR about in the past. So this one is kind of a pointless question, if that makes sense. Can you tell us more about the motor used in Formula E, including plans for use in production vehicles? So completely separate type of configuration, as they did say in the past. So this question, once again, is kind of good, right mentality, especially considering the PIF recently announced a big deal regarding Formula E, as what Lucid did in, I think, beginning of 2023. So this is kind of the right mentality operational wise. Just I don't know, they'll probably just refer to previous PR about this. No matter what though, on a side note, I guess this isn't necessarily that operational. So Peter might actually like to ask or answer this question, because he could talk for probably 45 minutes all about technology and what they're doing for Formula E. So that might be a good thing. But still, moving on though, where are you at on production and delivery of Saudi orders? So I think that's a fairly good question, no matter what, especially part of the whole AMP2 facility. 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗘 recently said that they have produced thousands. Last news that did come out that said that it was roughly around 700. So it shows that they are actually doing stuff. So I think that that might be a good question. Aside from that though, do you plan to take salary cuts to reduce losses, or plan to buy back shares to improve stock health? So this once again is a kind of a good question by Daniel. More so, I think the salary cut question is a good one. Buybacks, I feel like this day and age, a lot of people just throw out the whole phrase, do a buyback, but you have to earn revenue and generate a sufficient amount of revenue in order for a buyback to be feasible. If not, you're just like diluting to pretty much buy back. It just does not make sense. So that part of the question, once again, probably should be cut. But I think that if you kind of can reword this question, where if would you be more willing, Peter, to take a salary cut more linked to, I guess, price action or actual true performance of deliveries or something like that? I feel like that might be a better suited question. But no matter what though, I feel like this upcoming earnings, given the stock price action, they might be only answering 3 questions, as what they typically have done, unless they've had a good quarter where they kind of feel bad for us, then they've asked about 4 or 5 questions or answered 4 or 5 questions. So no matter what, I think that there still is a lot more opportunity to have good questions posed, more so oriented towards ESS or something else. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Like I've signaled in the last couple of videos, technicals are looking a little bit more optimistic. So with it closing at 351, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks, Lucid is doing rather okay. $3.26 is going to be the next strong support. It kind of bounced off of that general area today. And then $3.70 is going to be the next strong resistance, so the next target that you'll want to watch for it to break above, aka hopefully tomorrow. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Lucid? And one final thing, as I always say, take advantage of this promo. Link in the description below and also the comments. Simply sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.